Type shit.
Stop playing with me, Drake.
DJ K. Come on, I'm doing shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with shit. Type shit. Activities. I'm doing shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with shit. Type shit. Activities. Posted up on the island with a bitch. They call me cause I ain't on that dumb shit. Yeah, I'm rich, but act broke with a bitch. Duval day, I really do it for the kids. Getting checks, never gotta work a job. No Viagra, dick still get hard. I can make your auntie swipe a credit card. OG in the game, realest that you ever. Aunties get down on the floor. Show these poor ass hoes how it go. Back it up like Freak Week 94. If she under 24, it's a no. Come on, I'm doing shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with shit. Type shit. Activity. I'm doing shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with shit. Type shit.
What's good, nieces and nephews? Welcome back to Unc B Streaming, your favorite Unc that ain't no punk on this fine Tuesday. Hope everybody had a great day yesterday and today is going well. Have a fun show planned for you guys. Fun to me at least. I hope it be fun to you. At the minimum, I hope we all learn something. Before we get started, your boy Unc done made pop-up TV again, pop-out TV again for the wrong reasons. No. I done made it again for going off on Sharon Bracey. I'm gonna try my best not to make pop-out TV again for that kind of stuff, because honestly, I'm a man of peace, believe it or not. That's why I don't do panels. That's why over here I don't do no mess, and I don't talk about certain things, because honestly, I don't like to curse people out. I don't like to talk about people. I really don't like to get upset. I don't like to argue. I really don't like to argue, believe it or not. That's why I go off so much, because the thing is, if you leave me the fuck alone, I will always leave you alone. If you haven't noticed in life, the people that will fuck you up the quickest, the people that would go off on you the most, usually be people like me that honestly just want to be left the fuck alone. I've been that way my whole fucking life, ever since grade school, where leave me the fuck alone. Don't start none, won't be none, has been the motto in my life, the mantra, the principle that I try my best to follow, and I fucking like put on everybody else. And when that get crossed, shit get ugly. So something's going to have to shake. I'm probably going to either take a break from panels or just don't even engage with certain people. Because all I go to do is have a good conversation and support my homie. Some kind of way, it always turns to weird shit. That's why I just want to say this formally here. People, do not nominate me for panel MVP no more, because I don't want it. I fuck with DJ online and offline. He the homie. I think he a good dude doing great things. I'm gonna support him regardless of stuff like that. Cause every time I win something, people get weird and start attacking me and get extra aggressive if they gotta show me up, and it's weird and it ain't that fucking serious. You understand? Because I don't do anything I do for anything like that. I just want to chill at night while the family sleep because I have insomnia and have fun, interesting, engaging conversations. I don't want to argue. I don't want to tussle. I don't want no banter, all that weird shit. Leave me alone. It's weird as shit. What's up, Candy Cane? What's up, King Amir? What's up, Parking Nut? Xylo? Feel free to ask your question. As long as it's not weird, I'll answer it. By weird, I mean inappropriate. As you see from the title today, I'm all for talking about things that people consider weird. It's just I don't have time for a certain level of weirdness, if that makes sense. Hope it does. If it don't, I can help it make sense for you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, maybe not. It is what it is. Anyway, yeah, that's what I wanted to start off with talking about today. Like, I made Pop Out TV for what I consider the wrong reasons. I've reached my limit of people antagonizing me or trying me. I reached my limit. Enough is enough. I'm not dealing with insecure people. I'm not dealing with fucking men, children. I'm not dealing with pettiness and jealousy, and I'm not gonna tolerate online what I don't tolerate in real life. Who's this weird dude? Am I white? Answer me, you bum. You a weirdo. How the fuck does anything about me look white? You see this brown skin and these big ass lips. This dark coarse hair on my fucking chin. In what world does a white man look like this? Unless you're not watching the video, you just listen to the sound of my voice. But honestly, I don't think my voice sounds particularly white. Do I speak in a bunch of ebonic slang and jargon? No, but that's not what black people do. Niggas do that. Oh yeah, this is just a troll. Anyway, so matter of fact, let me pull something up real quick. Since it's out there, right? Since it's out there, right? This is on old showing his ass. I ain't gonna play the whole thing.
Coming in soon, pop out TV.
I'll whoop your fucking ass, little boy.
Damn!
Worry about Zangief, nigga. Hey, nigga. At least JP got his kids, nigga. You put babies in no black women and dipped and slipped, nigga, and want to worry about a game or two, nigga. Be cheating. I said it before. I cheated on my wife in my 20s. We worked past it. What's your point, nigga?
Levels.
I didn't have to buy pussy. But if you really need to know.
So yeah, I went off because he was like, be cheating. I said I cheated on my wife in my 20s. I'm sorry, I'm not a perfect man. I got married at fucking 23. We went to fucking marriage counseling. We went to church counseling. And we worked our way through it. Was it easy? No. Was I wrong? Yes. But I'm fucking 47, turning 48 in August. I said I cheated on my wife because cheating happens. And here comes Sharon. You know what? I'm not going to go there because he get on the high horse. He heard something on a panel 2 years ago that I said and keep bringing it up as if I invented the shit. I cheated on my wife, and so has millions and millions and millions of other men throughout history cheated on somebody. Sorry that I'm not fucking perfect. But the thing about me, I'm a fucking bandit. I ain't never come like Anton Daniels and said I was the closest thing next to God. That I was a holy nigga. No. I'm a little nigga from Louisiana. What are we talking about here? The man I was then is not the man I am today. But I'm not going to hide from my past. I'm not going to hide from who I was. I'm not going to hide from what I done. It is what it is. So that's what he put that in the comment. Be screaming, be cheated on his wife when I was 20 something. And the weird part is, this nigga worry about me, like I said in the thing, nigga worry about me cheating on my wife in my 20s. But he put babies in 2 black women and left their ass and went and married the white woman. But he want to call us degenerates and pookies all the time and all that stuff. Yet, he damn near worse than JP, because at least JP in his kid's life every day, you dipped on 2 fucking women and was in the air. Then you get with the Caucasian woman and you fall the other fucking year. Yes, I cheated in my 20s, but I got 4 kids, 1 woman, been married 23 years, and my kids had a father in their life, their whole fucking life. But anyway, I went off on them, all the cussing and fussing and rah-rah shit. It really was because Ism little weird ass was already antagonizing me because he get jealous and frustrated that the panel, that the chat be voting me panel MVP, and that me and DJ Wish thought to have a rapport, which is weird to be jealous and frustrated of a man that because he has rapport with another man. No. But dude, stop it. It's fucking But that's enough of that. Shout out to Pop Out TV. Go check him out. Go check that video out if you want to see old show his whole ass. I'm letting y'all know here today, for the few people that watch and support me, I'm either not gonna talk to these people or I'm probably gonna leave. Because what I'm not gonna do is have them tricking me out my bag or showing my ass in a certain way that doesn't resonate with me. The only reason I don't leave because that's what people like ism want. They want to get on your nerves and be a 60-year-old retard and act like a fucking man child. And then when you be mature and you step away from it, that's when he go on his victory lap. I ran him out. I ran this nigga out. Ran him off. And you know what I'm saying? He can't handle the smoke, blah, blah, blah. Because you don't want to talk to a person that's being fucking weird. That's the only reason I don't leave. Because really, see what I'm saying? They say I can't leave. But at the same time, that's how I always handle things when it come like that. Because the thing is, in real life, I hurt people. I ain't saying I'm John Wick. I ain't the best fighter in the world. I have lost fights. I have won fights. But one thing I will do is punch a motherfucker in the fucking mouth. And then we're going to see what shake after that. But the problem is you can't do that online. And my point is that I have a very short arguing. My window to argue is short. My window to shit talking is short. When y'all see me snap online, that would be a time in real life where I will already be throwing hands with somebody. Because usually before I snap, I'd be like, yo, just dude, chill out. Leave me alone. I'm not trying to do this. I don't want to talk about this. But since they feeling safe online, rah, 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 rah. And that's why I go off. But I don't want to do that. But since I can't fucking punch them in their mouth, I gotta let it out some way. Or I gotta leave. I choose to leave because as you see, everybody around here be screen recording shit. And I don't want too much stuff out there showing the worst of me, showing me when people don't push me past the limit that I normally don't let people push me past. You know what I'm saying? In real life, I don't be around those kind of people that try me like that. Or I show those people real quick why those doesn't behoove them to try me like that. Because it's the thing. Even if you whoop me in the fight, I'm gonna put enough work on you to where you're gonna understand that fucking with me ain't in your favor. Cause I ain't won every fight I fought, but I never had a fight where I didn't catch a nigga real good several times. Made them be like, yeah, I might have won, but this nigga ain't no punk. That's why the motherfuckers don't come back. Even the fights I lost, that person energy towards me changed as far as like, yeah, that nigga ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? That nigga, I won, but yeah, it wasn't no easy win. So we just gonna go play with bully somebody or try somebody else cause this nigga here, he that nigga motherfucker like Wolverine. I ain't talking about the movie Wolverine, the comic Wolverine. A little nigga, no comic. I ain't 5'3", I'm 5'7", but in comic book Wolverine 5'3", and that nigga fucking savage. You know what I'm saying? So, we don't do none of that kind of stuff over here. I just brought it up because when I logged in, bam, I was on the Pop Out TV shit. But we're gonna get on to the real shit over here, the Unk Files. So first of all, before we get started, it used to be 10 for a Tuesday, right? But I was like, so many people use that. So I was like, I was chilling. And I was like, hold up, Unk Files. Let's do it. So before we do that though, let me do some quick admin stuff.
What's up, nieces and nephews? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and please share.
Please hit my Cash App at UnkB Streaming or the Ko-fi link pinned to the top of the chat.
Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break.
All right, let me get a little music going real quick. Special for today's show. Let me know if the music is too loud. Again, I'm testing out this new software. So, time travel, lucid dreams are two concepts that I'm always been extremely fascinated with. Let's start with time travel. Always been fascinated with time travel. Oh shit. Shout out to TJ. What's up, brother? MS Best. Wanda in the house. Candy Cane. I think I spoke to already. Everybody that's here. May. I ain't really beefing with nobody, but it's just weird people that keep antagonizing me. This weird little dude named Sir Ism. He said arguing with men gets his juices going. And I keep telling him, like, I don't want to help you get your juices going. He just can't get that. And of course, Tron Bracy being a bitch, but you already know about him. And yeah, pretty much that. It ain't no real beef. It is what it is. It ain't no beef as in like I ain't gonna never put him on a thumbnail, do no show about him, talk about him for hours, blah blah blah, that kind of shit. I just said what I said today because it was on Pop Out TV, and it's something niggas. So anyway, time travel, right? I have a love-hate relationship with time travel because when it's done right, it works really well. But the problem with time travel, especially in fiction, is that you have to be a really good writer to write time travel. I can't stand when amateur writers try to add time travel to their shows or books, because time travel can get extremely complicated, with the paradoxes and all that. One of the best time travel movies I saw was The Butterfly Effect. Now, I know time travel, at least to the best of my knowledge, doesn't exist, right? But with common sense, with some science and theories, and just the unspoken fictional rules, there are rules to time travel. And often, sometimes writers are trying to step outside of those rules for convenience, and they make the film extremely bad. Like the Avengers Endgame, one of those Avengers movies, they made an attempt to do consequence-free time travel. What I mean by that, with their whole, if you go back in time and kill baby Thanos, it'll only create an alternate timeline where that happened, but won't affect this timeline. They only made that where they can go do time stuff without the consequences in their timeline. But the most common known and accepted theory is the butterfly effect, and because that's not how time is commonly accepted as working. If I go back and delete you as a baby, there shouldn't be any way where the future you exists. If I go delete your pops or your mom before she have you, you shouldn't exist. Those the time travel rules I prefer, where something that happens in the past affects the future. Not the whole, I did this in the past, it creates an alternate timeline that branches off. That was that weird shit Marvel tried to pull off. But the problem with that they weren't good enough writers to make that shit really stick or make sense. And I hate when people use time travel as a convenient tool to play with when they don't have a logical understanding of the concepts about it. But that's just time travel in fiction, right? People often like to play what if games. I love a good what if game. I'm gonna ask y'all, and I'm gonna tell y'all how I feel. If y'all had a time travel machine, what would you go back and do? I would go back and probably win the Powerball 2 or 3 times, maybe 1 time. I'd go back in time and win the 900 million Powerball. But at the thing is, like, with great power comes great responsibility, right? Ain't that what somebody uncle said? So it's like, let's say you had a time machine. Would you go back and stop 9/11? See, that's what I'm saying. May already on it. She said she'd go save Abraham Lincoln. It's so many wrongs in history. I would love to have a time machine, but at the same time, I wouldn't want that responsibility. Like, do I gotta go back to the slave days and give all the slaves bulletproof vests, 9mm, and M16s, and show them how to use them, and let them air out the plantation? Damn. CJ said, forget them ninjas.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
Damn, you gonna let slavery? You got a time machine, CJ? See, it's ninjas like this. You gonna have a time machine and let your ancestors just go through it? Even though Jewish people ain't really done me no particular favors that I know of, I still think it was messed up how Hitler, I'm gonna say it because this is his real name, fuck it, how Hitler did them. So I would probably go back and knock baby Hitler off the block.
No.
What's the thing about time travel, right? From theory, fiction, books, film, all that, is that you can't always predict the ripples in time that the change you make might cause. That's where stuff gets scary. You really never know what, even you just going back and making yourself win the Powerball might change a bunch of shit, believe it or not. So with the power of time travel, would you be a hero or a selfish motherfucker and self-serving? There's a hero in DC Comics. His name is Booster Gold. G-O-L-D, Booster Gold. He comes from the future, from the 31st century. He traveled back to present day with 31st century technology in order to be a hero because he was a loser and a janitor. He used to play football or some shit, I think. But he got an injury and didn't make it or something. He became a janitor in the 31st century. He's working at a museum. He found some old technology at a Justice League museum. Some kind of way got the shit to working and took all the tech in the future tech, like the Justice, what is it? The Legion of Justice, whatever, flight ring, and these little suit he wear that has a force field. All the 31st century tech made him badass in the present day. So he took it back and he tried to make something of himself since he couldn't. He was extremely self-serving. Of course, he eventually became one of the best heroes because he started using his time travel to help people. But with that, since he wasn't like no scientist or no shit, like I said, nigga was a football player that got injured and turned to a janitor, he made a whole bunch of mistakes in his time traveling adventure and often caused himself and others more problems than he solved. At first, he had selfish intentions, and he ended up having good intentions. But as we know, all good intentions don't lead to good outcomes or good decisions. May says, you got me in my imagination now. I would deny Trump's grandfather's immigration visa to America.
No.
We will be Trump and MAGA free. We're going to be Trump and MAGA free in just a couple more years, people. Just stand firm and be patient. Well, I'm not going to lie. I would right some wrongs, but I'm not going to dedicate my life into righting all the wrongs that ever happened. Because Jesus, when would I ever have time for myself and my family? I would definitely do something selfish, like go back and win the Powerball. And then I would use some of that money for my resources that I use to go back and right some serious wrongs. But if I just won't be able to go back and try to right all the wrongs, save every innocent life, number one, some of those situations, I'll be jeopardizing my safety and my freedom out here trying to be a time vigilante or whatever. Hey, sound like a good concept for a show, maybe. Time vigilante. Dude got a time machine. He go back in time to aggressively. Now, it been shows where people go back in time to rectify shit. I seen Quantum Leap, which was an amazing show. But that's called this time vigilante because it's like Quantum Leap mixed with the Punisher. He goes back in time to aggressively rectify shit. Butterfly Effect was one of the most realistic and good. It was a really good time travel movie, right? Back to the Future was really, really fun. It was really good too, but the energy of the movies was different because, of the genre. But I do like how, Back in the Future, changing shit in the past, change shit in the present. And that's how I think time travel actually works. Just like I'm fascinated with time travel, people all over the world are fascinated with time travel. Scientists are fascinated with time travel. There have been some instances where people, either through just wanting attention, mental illness, or maybe the shit is real, have claimed that they time travel. We're about to watch a video titled "The Most Convincing Time Travel Story." Let's see if it's convincing. So with that said, we're gonna pause this lovely X-Files style music. We're gonna put up this stream and see how convincing this time travel story is. See if it make us feel like this shit really went down. Even if I'm not convinced, I had a feeling. At the minimum, we all about to be entertained. Or at least our brain's gonna be activated. Like over here with my shows, if I can just make someone or push someone to think about something that they wouldn't normally think about in a way they would normally think about, I feel I did my work and I'm happy about that. If I can make just one person not think about their problems in life or some reality TV show or some fuckery, just a thought process. If I could take you down a street of thought, a road of thought that you wouldn't normally go down, no, you know, I'm happy. But let's get to it.
Ukraine, police were called to deal with a confused man. In 2006, in the city of Kyiv, Ukraine, police were called to deal with a confused man. When they arrived, they found a young man who was scared, didn't know where he was, and was dressed in strange anachronistic clothing, carrying a camera. Little did they know that they were possibly standing face to face with an actual time traveler. The man's name was Sergei Ponomarenko, and when the police asked him for his ID, he handed it to them, and the first thing they noticed was that it was issued from a country that didn't exist anymore. The Soviet Union. Ukraine was, of course, part of the Soviet Union in the past, but the Soviet Union had dissolved almost a couple of decades ago at that point. So let's just say the police didn't see those IDs much anymore, especially on young people, and this guy looked like he was in his 20s. And yet his ID stated that his birth date was in 1932. And he...
Okay, hold on. So let's keep up, people. This guy walking in the street, confused, wearing dated clothes. They ask for his ID. He pulls out an ID from a country that don't exist no more. Looks like an old style ID that says he was born way back in the day. That's where we at now. So exactly. He got receipts. This is wild. Okay, I am engaged now. I am locked in. I am intrigued.
Past, but the Soviet Union had dissolved almost a couple of decades ago at that point. So let's just say the police didn't see those IDs much anymore, especially on young people, and this guy looked like he was in his 20s. And yet his ID stated that his birth date was in 1932. And he matched the picture in the ID, so something didn't add up. When they asked him what day he thought it was, he answered April 23rd, 1958. And that's when the police said, okay, we're going to take you to a little room where you can talk to the...
Okay, I'm picking up what they putting down. This getting wild.
Nice doctor.
You're crazy!
So Sergei winds up in a mental hospital in the care of Dr. Pavlo Kudrikov. So the doctor played along with this whole idea, and he asked him if he could figure out or if he could remember how he wound up in 2006, even though he thought it was 1958. And as recorded by the doctor, Sergei said, quote, "It was daytime, and I wanted to go for a walk in the city. I took my camera, but when I left my house, I saw a strange object that had a bell shape, and it was very strange, and it was flying in a strange way. It is difficult to explain what I was seeing. It might be better to look at the photos from my camera." Dr. Kudrikov was curious, so he got a hold of the camera, and the first thing he noticed was that it was an old rare Yashima Flex. The doctor was a bit of a photographer himself, so he recognized the brand and knew right away that this was like an antique, which is
This dude had all the receipts. He got the old clothes, the old ID with the old birth date on it. Born in 32. He last remembered being 56. His age match up probably with that birth date and the time he thought it was. And he got the camera. That's a camera from back in the day. If this is a guy just putting on, he went through great steps to create this fucking illusion.
It's a problem because it used a type of film that hadn't been manufactured since the 1970s. You can't just take it down to the CVS to get it developed, so he called in a photography expert named Vadim Poisner. Vadim got the film out, and he was able to see from the real info that it was manufactured in 1956. But it was in perfect condition. So he developed the roll, and this is when everything just kept getting weirder. What he found on the roll were photos of Kiev, but clearly from a long time ago. All the cars, all the clothes, all the street signs, all were from the 50s. And there were photos of buildings that didn't exist anymore. And right there in front of those buildings was Sergei with his girlfriend at the time, out enjoying a beautiful day, wearing the exact same clothes he was found in. And the last photo on the reel, just as Sergei had suggested, featured a bell-shaped UFO. When the doctor asked him about the UFO photo, Sergei said, quote, "Now are you convinced I'm telling the truth? I so far do not understand what this object is and how something like that happened to me at the same moment when I took the picture and I went down to look at the camera and somehow I showed up in this year." Dr. Kutrikov, being scientifically minded, hypothesized that if this was some kind of alien spacecraft, it could perhaps have flown him across the universe at the speed of light and brought him back in a split second. And due to Einstein's theory of relativity, he would experience time dilation, meaning that time would have barely passed for him, but back on Earth, 47 years would have gone by.
Ty Holmes says, "I'm going to remain single forever." With that kind of mindset, my friend, you will. But with a little positivity, you can get you a woman. Might not be the dream woman, but a woman. And a decent woman. She might not be a 10, but yo, that most people's 4s, 5s, and 6s. Most people walking around here below average to slightly above average. That's the range they fall in. Straight up. I'm not one of those guys that get on here and act like super player, all that, him and Himalaya. 4, 5, and 6s always been my sweet spot. That's what we call in the military my kill zone. I have a 90% easily success rate with 4s, 5s, and 6s. I have success with women over that, but as I go, the higher I go up, obviously, the lower my success rate changes. That's why 4s, 5s, and 6s is my sweet spot. Slightly below average, slightly above average. That's 4 that we call slightly below average. It's another word for that called fuckable. She's a 4, she's fuckable. The 5 is dateable. The 6 is wifeable. The 5 can be wifeable too, depending on certain personality traits, of course. Anyway, Ty, you won't be single forever. Go get you a 4 and wife her up. Because for some guys, that 4 that's fuckable can change to wifeable. It's depending on what you got going on as a man. So all this stuff has a sliding scale that's adjustable, but you got to properly assess yourself and see where you sit before you try to look for what you're looking for. But it ain't that kind of show. But I just wanted to give you some old Uncle advice real quick. May says, I actually follow a black lady called Serena here on YouTube, and she is stuck in the 50s. She is 40, but her clothes, car, and household is 100% 1950s. She's not a time traveler, though. Hey, that's actually very that's kind of cool, actually. Pretty cool.
Flight of the Navigator theory, if you will. But back on Earth, 47 years would have gone by. The Flight of the Navigator theory, if you will. That night, Sergei went back to his room, closed the door, and was never seen again. The hospital security camera captured when he entered the room, but it never filmed him leaving. There was only one way out of this room. It was always watched, and the room windows had bars, so there was no way for him to escape without being noticed. Yeah, Sergei just pulled a Shawshank.
Man up and vanished like a fart in the wind.
Only there was no Raquel Welch poster to explain what happened to him. He was never found. No means of escape were ever found. He just vanished, leaving the police with his camera, his photographs, and a crazy mystery to solve. A mystery that just keeps getting weirder. Because they investigated the case and they found out that there was actually a Sergei Ponomarenko that was declared missing in Kyiv in 1960. They also were able to track down the woman in the photograph, his girlfriend, who was now over 70 years old at this point. She told the police that Sergei had disappeared that day in 1958, but returned just a few days later, the exact amount of time that he had been in 2006. But then she claimed that he disappeared again in the 1970s, and this time he was never seen again. But
Yo, this is wild.
What the hell?
This is, I didn't know this was this wild. I'm glad I'm watching this. This is very, very, very intriguing. I got a slight headache. I'm gonna push play on this real quick and run and grab one Aleve. I'll be right back. Well, I'm gonna let the video rock for you guys. I got my speakers loud, so I hear it from around the corner where I get my medicine.
But years after he vanished, she received a strange photo in the mail. It was from Sergei, and according to the note he wrote on there, the photo is from 2050. It shows an older mustachioed Sergei with Kyiv in the background, only in this photo, the skyline is full of skyscrapers. He also said in the note that he would be back soon, which, for whatever reason, didn't happen. The story of Sergei Ponomarenko has gone down in internet lore as possibly the most well-documented case of time travel in history. You know, now might be a good time to introduce you guys to Woo Woo Alarm 2.0. Quick shout out to the video where I...
That's wild. That whole story. I ain't saying it's real, but I mean, we all heard the information, saw the images. I see why it's called the most convincing time travel story. I get it.
Put on the Woo Woo Alarm for almost a full minute and people went ape in the comments. Yeah, okay. That's enough of that. Look, it's a great story, okay? I totally get why it became such an urban legend. The problem is, everything that I could find on this, all the images that you've seen throughout this video, they all tie back to one TV show. It was a show called Aliens that aired on a Ukrainian channel called 1+1 in 2012. There were 10 episodes total. The episode that tells this story is the third episode. It's titled Time Traveler. It's an entire series about different stories of alien abductions and stuff. Other titles...
They said they just wrote this shit. Okay. This is the thing. I think a lot of shit happens and it be real. But I think in society, the powers that be have mastered the art of covering shit up. Like, it's plenty of non-crazy, have all their teeth in their mouth, have good jobs people that saw UFOs, right? But they like to they like to interview the craziest people ever. So when someone that has some sense say something, they already discredit it because the crazy people always made us think, the shit's just somebody clout chasing. That's why I think the government sometimes purposely release somewhat realistic looking fake UFO videos, and then people debunk them so that when someone release a real UFO video, people would immediately think that it's fake. So everything got 1,000 ways to get explained off. They basically using the court system reasonable doubt concept. I think it's really easy to introduce a form of reasonable doubt into a lot of things. Unless you fucking saw it yourself down there. What's going on, Free the Green?
Include alien abductions, levitation effect, phantoms, and crop circles. And the show actually featured a disclaimer at the beginning that translates to, quote, "The Alien series aims to restore scenes of controversial topics. Any theory or hypothesis proposed cannot be considered to be correct, and further scientific research is required. All scene restorations are based on the statements of witnesses. There is no conclusive evidence to prove the existence of aliens. Your opinion on this issue is up to you." So yeah, the show itself says any theory proposed cannot be considered to be correct, which is more than you ever get from the History Channel. And it's also careful to point out that these are scene restorations. So all these images of Sergei that keep showing up on every website and every video that talks about this story, those are all recreations. This is not real interview footage, which kind of feels obvious to me, but I guess I spend more time around cameras than most people. And besides, there's a few pretty glaring details that are wrong in this episode. For example, the security camera footage displays the time as Tuesday, April 23rd, 2006. But if you pull up a calendar app on your phone, you'll see that April 23rd, 2006 was actually a Sunday. Others have pointed out that the ID card that you see on the show has the seal of the Communist Youth League stamped on it, but it's not the actual seal from that time period. I'm sure the art director was good, but you can never beat the internet. And then there's that picture from 2050. It has buildings copied and pasted all over, and a lot of thought's been put into how it would actually work. For example, a paper published in Classical and get it, I totally get it. Time travel's a fascinating. I hate this timeline. But I get it, I totally get it. Time travel's a fascinating subject, and a lot of thought's been put into how it would actually work. For example, a paper published in Classical and Quantum Gravity in September 2020 suggested there's actually a way to travel backwards in time. They looked at Einstein's theory of relativity, specifically his calculations that show that it should be possible for an object in the universe to travel through space and time in a circular direction and end up back at the starting point. Einstein called it a closed time-like curve. But of course, physicists, when talking about time travel, they deal with paradoxes like the grandfather paradox, That's the idea that a time traveler goes back in the past and kills a younger version of her grandfather. This, of course, means the time traveler's parents weren't born, along with the time traveler herself, and if the time traveler didn't get born, then how would she have gone back to kill her grandfather? That whole thing. So the writers of this paper used what they call the billiard ball model to tackle this paradox. They say imagine several billiard balls across a circular table. So when you push one ball away from position X, it goes around the table and hits the other balls in a particular pattern. But the researchers calculated that even if the ball's pattern is messed with at some point during its journey, future interactions with the other balls can actually correct its path. The ball will come back to position X at the same speed that it would have if it hadn't been interfered with. Basically, the ball will fall into the same place. So they used this model to explain how if you did travel back in time, you could change events, but not significantly enough to really change the future. So I
don't like that theory. I think the butterfly effect theory, I think the theory that you go back and change something, it affects the future, is the most logical one to me. Instead of the whole like you can change stuff a little bit, but it eventually find its way. That's back to where it was. Yeah, I call bullshit too, man. That just sounds like something people can't. When I think when stuff made people uncomfortable, they go off their way to come up with stuff to make themselves feel comfortable. And when talking about time travel, it can get uncomfortable. And they came up with a comfortable, safe theory of what's meant to be is meant to be, and you really can't change nothing. It's just gonna happen. And that would give you consequence-free time travel, kind of like they did in Endgame. You know, oh, it don't alter to this timeline, it just makes a branch timeline. So you can go back and do whatever you want because it's gonna make a branch fuck out of here. But it's all theories anyway, right? May says using small balls to simulate a complex concept like time and space and activity. Nah, everything is a ripple effect. I believe that too. I believe you drop a pebble in time, it's going to make a ripple effect straight up. It's going to be felt throughout history. Again, if time travel was real, let's say some racist time traveler want to go back and make sure Martin Luther King didn't live to become an adult. I think there will be ripples in history from that time point when he take MLK out at the age of 15. I don't know. I ain't saying shit gonna drastically change, but of course, all the history that he made is gonna cease to exist. So the timeline just gonna start altering. Just, the simple is that the timeline gonna start altering off the rip. And then we got to go from there, right?
With the grandfather paradox, it would basically mean that something would always get in the way of you trying to kill him. As researcher Germaine Turbar said, quote, "No matter what you did, the salient events would just recalibrate around you. Try as you might to create a paradox, the event..."
That's what they tried to do. And have y'all seen Into the Spider-Verse? The Into the Spider-Verse, the little animated Marvel movie with Miles Morales, Spider-Man. And they had this thing where they call it a canon event. And a canon event in the comic book world is something that happened in time. It's fixed in time. It can't be unfixed. It has to happen. That's what we say. Like I said, no matter what you did, the salient event would just recalibrate around you. Try as you might to create a paradox, the events will always adjust themselves to avoid the inconsistency. Some people feel that there are certain events in time that are locked in. I don't get or understand or agree with that theory. What makes this particular event so specific that even time travel itself can change it? What's so special about this event? What abilities does this event have to where it can't be undone? Because they said pretty much saying like, if it's fixed in it, you can't go back and delete your grandfather or whatever, delete somebody in the past. Something will always happen to stop you from doing it because it's a set thing in time. I don't believe that. I think if time travel did exist, you can go back and change and alter the fuck out of current history as much as you want. That's the only shit that makes sense to your boy.
Will always adjust themselves to avoid any inconsistency. Now, I think this paper is mostly just sort of an interesting thought experiment, but this does sound a bit like determinism, you know? Like the idea that the world will just recalibrate around any changes you make in the timeline, kind of like a car navigation when you miss your exit. The big question, though, is what causes this recalibration? What holds this reality together? Is it a fundamental quantum force? The Matrix? The power of Zoe?
I just said the same shit. It's cool to say that shit gonna work its way back, but how, Sway? How?
Unfortunately, it'll be a long time until we can test something like this and actually send an instrument or a person on a closed time-like curve. Until then, we'll just have to imagine it, which we've kind of been doing this whole time. I mean, one of the earliest ancient Sanskrit epic poems was called Mahabharata, and it was about time travel. I think maybe we're drawn to time travel stories because time is the most insidious force in our lives. Time marches on, it never stops. We are ultimately at its mercy, and the greatest fantasy we have is to escape its grip. As professor of science fiction studies at Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta, Lisa Yazek told Live Science in 2022, quote, "Time travel tales let us imagine that we can break free from the grip of linear time and somehow get a new perspective on the human experience, either our own or as humanity as a whole." So maybe that's why this urban legend has struck such a chord online with everybody, you know? As disoriented and confused as he was, in some small way, we kind of all want to be Sergei. Okay, so this whole Sergei story kind of revolves around the whole idea that, you know, a UFO picked him up and carried him around at the speed of light and then dropped him back on Earth 50 years or so later. This is, of course, you know, an example of Einstein's theory of relativity in action, which you all probably get the general gist of. You're smart people watching this, but why does that happen exactly? Now, if you think I'm going to answer with some course on Brilliant, well, you're right. It's right there in the classical mechanics course. And this, in my opinion, is why Brilliant is so powerful. You know, they take you all the way back to the basics of kinematics and Newton's laws and let you work all the way.
He getting a little too egghead for me at this time of day. I haven't had a cup of coffee yet. But I think that was pretty dope, yo. That was actually pretty dope. Time travel. What would you do? What would be your first move? What would be your next move? What would be your best move? Again, take out baby Hitler, call in a bomb threat to the Twin Towers before 9/11 happens so you can evacuate the buildings and save everybody. Take you and a bunch of YNs back to the slave days and set it off on the plantations. When you think about that, how many people really would be down for that? You got people like Jay Pence for president that act like they can't stand the white man. You got a whole bunch of, you know, you got the Pan-Africans, you got the Umars, and you got all these militant people that got so much anger. You got the Israelites. You got all these people that got, you know, the white devil and all that stuff. You got all these people that have this stuff. Dude, what do y'all think they would do if given an opportunity to go back in time and put belt to ass to what, based on the stuff they say, will be considered some of the most evilest of the white man in the history of America? Would they go back with their AKs and their switches and do that work on the plantation? Would they be scared? Will all of a sudden all that tough guy shit go away? Pretty Green said he going back to the 90s and tell myself to buy Bitcoin. I'm just going back to the last time the Powerball was 900 million and playing those numbers and winning that shit. One of my favorite time travel movies, because it's fun and funny, is The Hot Tub Time Machine. Part 1 was awesome. Part 2 was okay. But if you haven't seen Hot Tub Time Machine 1, check it out. If you like 1 as much as I did, check out 2, but 2 is not a must-see. The Hot Tub Time Machine 1 is a must-see if you intrigue anything about time travel and comedy. It was just a fun movie with an outstanding cast. It was just dope. May says, good point. People be addicted to their oppression. Laugh out loud. They need it. They not going back. They not going back to take out the white man that they fuss so much about. Feed the slaves. End of oppression. And I ain't talking about go back at the end of slave. No. Go back at the very beginning of that shit. When the first boat dropped. Matter of fact, go over to when they trying to buy the slaves and start fucking everybody up before the transaction even happened. Coming out there. YNs. Switches. Revolutionaries. Everybody got body armor. Top technology. They might have a casualty or a few, but overall, it should be an easy win. Tahone said, I'm going to join MGTOW. Well, it's not an official organization per se. You don't have to really join anything. I mean, you can choose to go your own way. If that's what it takes to protect your peace, ain't nothing wrong with it. If that's what protects your peace, keeps you sane, safe, and happy. Peter Green said, I wouldn't go and destroy the white man because who the hell am I going to blame for racism? No. I know, right? Who are you going to blame for all your failures in life? All your inadequacies, you know what I'm saying? Who if you ain't where you at in life and the white man ain't here, what you gonna do then? You might have to look in the mirror and be like, yo, I's the problem. You know what I'm saying? You know? Who you gonna say hold you back? Who you gonna say holding you down? Who you gonna say keeping you from rising to the levels that you're supposed to without the white man being there to shackle your feetses in 2026? Oh
my God.
Yo, real quick.
If you want to support, hit up my Cash App at $UncBeStreaming. Any donation will be greatly appreciated. Thanks in advance.
What's up, nieces and nephews? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and please share.
Please hit my Cash App at UncBeStreaming or the Ko-fi link pinned to the top of the chat.
Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break.
So I might have another time travel story that they say is the most convincing time travel story, but it might just be another video about the story we just watched. If it is, obviously we're not going to watch it again. If it's something different, we're definitely gonna watch it, because that one we watched was pretty solid. You know what? I got something even better. I think it's even better. Again, I don't watch none of these videos beforehand because I be wanting my I want to be entertained just like y'all, you know what I'm saying? Real time. I want this shit to be organic, man. I like to keep it real.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about weird cases of time traveling. From a time traveler who passes a lie detector test to a man from the future who earned a fortune on the stock market. Join us as we take a look at 10 real cases of time travel that can't be explained. In February 2018, a man who claimed to be a time traveler underwent a lie detector test on camera. The man, only known as Noah, said he was from the year 2030 and made several predictions for the near future. Among them, he said that Donald Trump would be re-elected for a second term of presidency. In 2028, time travel will be invented and the first humans will visit Mars. He also claimed that Bitcoin will be used as a currency, but that cash money also still exists. Noah also claims to have some sort of futuristic technology implanted in his wrist that is somehow involved in the time travel process. An X-ray confirms that there is in fact some sort of device embedded under the skin, but he refuses to have it surgically removed. Several days after the lie detector test, Noah was reported to mysteriously vanish during a live stream. It was then revealed that he contacted the channel via email, stating that he was briefly taken back to the year 2030 for interrogation, but is now back in our time. In 1932, journalist
Wait, that was a lot. That was a lot. Am I lying? Is it just me? That was a lot to glaze over in just a minute. The boy took a lie detector test, passed them hoes, predicted some shit that actually happened. He gave us hard dates. It's 2026 now. This boy saying time travel gonna be invented in 2028. Of course, when it do, regular folks like us not gonna know about it, and I can see it. I don't think they never stop working on that shit. That is too powerful of a tool, too powerful of a weapon. Gives you just too much power in general for these power hungry megalomaniacs out here that really run the world to not be putting their money into somebody trying to come up with time travel. Straight up. So, not saying time travel exists, not saying it's gonna exist in 2028, but I know one thing for sure, one thing for certain is that them niggas is working on it, just like they're working on some form of immortality. Man, you know what? You know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me let me get back on my bullshit real quick, man. Just a second, man. Just a second.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Listen. Got some conspiracy theories. I don't have a lot of them. Well, I got quite a few. I get more and more all the time. I'm not gonna cap. Shit just don't be making sense. Or maybe shit be making sense. I firmly believe, I know that the powers that see that. Wait, let me get my thoughts in order. Okay. In life, there are some absolutes that can't be dodged. And one of those is that you will grow old and die. It don't matter if you short, ugly, and broke, or if you tall, handsome, and the richest person in the world. You could be the most homeless nigga on the street or Elon Musk. At the same, you still gonna share the same end game, the same fate as that nigga that sleep on under the bridge. You can have 10 multi-million-dollar homes all over the world, but at the end of the day, the same destiny and fate awaits you as someone that never accomplished shit in life. And that bothers. All right, Candy, I would definitely lock you in. Thank you and appreciate it. Yeah, we're working around your schedule for sure because I fucks with you. And you, yeah. So, you share the same fate, and the rich people can't handle that. It bothers the fuck out of them because they spend their whole life being smart, successful, doing more and having more. But like, yo, I gotta grow old and die like these fucking people. I want to live forever, for long as possible, so that I can enjoy the success and the success. Talking to Ken folks like anybody ever. No, I never heard of MC Hammer in my life. This is going. I know I don't look like these people. In my life, I've heard Nick Cannon. With my beard a certain way, I heard Kanye West. I've heard Michael B. Jordan before, but never MC Hammer. But I can kind of see it when he was younger. I can kind of see it resembles. I never heard I look identical like none of these people. But they be like, you resemble, like you kind of, yeah, that kind of shit. I used to be able to, in my youth, I used to be able to dance like Hammer. You know, I'm 47. Listen, I tried some moves the other night, just dancing around in the living room. Boy, let me tell you, these knees and this lower back ain't ready. Ain't ready at all. I went low with a move and almost stayed there. No. If I try to dance like MC Hammer, it would turn "Can't Touch This" to me laying on the ground screaming, "Don't touch me." I ain't got it in me. I ain't built for it tough like that. But when it comes to this anymore, the rich, successful, famous, they think death is beneath them because death is something that the common folk share. The common folk being me. That's why people spent all kinds of money and resources and lives back in the day going to look for the fountain of youth. And we're probably going to do a show about the fountain of youth on my next Unk Files. We're going to talk about the fountain of youth and maybe all the different ways people trying to live forever. But they're doing that now. Let me tell y'all, the sciences, they working on something that looks like individual things, but really, even though they're doing it separately, I think it's just research and development just in different areas, but it's all it's for one purpose. You have cloning technology, right? They've been cloning sheep and other animals for years. If you don't think they attempted to clone a human before or have cloned a human, I got some, if you don't believe that never happened, by the way, it's illegal in America to do it, but that don't matter for the government. But it's other countries where it's not even illegal to clone a human. Let's make that clear. And one thing America's not finna do is let other countries do some shit and they not do it too. So it's illegal in America for private companies and shit to do it, even though I don't even trust that some of them then sneak and do it. But so you got the cloning technology, right? You have these lifelike robots they're trying to make. You have the synthetic skin that's down in human like that they're trying to make. You have the chips that Elon Musk made that you put in your head. I think they're trying to figure out a way to make a copy of your brain. A digital copy of your brain. and either put it in the clone body, or for some people who want to go, well, some would consider an upgrade or a downgrade, depending on how you think about it, inside a very, very lifelike synthetic body. Because you know your brain is just what? Everything's made of energy. You got brain waves. You have, if they can figure out a way to record, track, replicate particular people's brain pattern, or not only do that, they have you like take a whole bunch of tests and answer a whole bunch of questions, and they use that to make a AI version of you. And then they put it in a synthetic being, kind of like Vision on Avengers. It's synthetic, but it got the skin, you know, not a robot, more like an android or a synthezoid. So I don't know, you know, just a synthetic being. But that wouldn't really be you. But these people are so desperate for what they present to the world to live on, they would take that. That's a high level of narcissism. When you feel like the world will forever need some kind of version of you in some kind of format. No. Just move on, bro. You know, we appreciate your contribution to society, but everybody got their time. But I really feel there's some people out there that think that even if it's not them living forever, if they fucking pretty much physically or digitally clone their brain or themselves, that they'll be doing mankind a favor. I can see Elon Musk making a very, 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 trying to make the most accurate AI Elon Musk person, to where, and putting it in one of his Tesla bots and making it look humanoid and just having that motherfucker around. I've seen low-level AI where they take people's voice, they do some kind of shit, personality testing, program the AI, and then people talk with the AI. And I'm not gonna lie, the AI really be answering the questions in the way that the person would, with some of the same fucking quirks and tics and the same kind of energy and personality. It's kind of scary. And this was like some low-level shit. It's some people that want their presence to be known so long, they will prefer to live forever. But their ego will allow them to at least do that. Like, a version of me will always walk amongst you type motherfuckers. It's certain animals that live a really long time, like certain turtles, 100 years. They got certain animals that some people consider immortal. They got other kind of animals that regenerate, different starfish and stuff, blah, blah, blah. They've been experimenting with those and the DNA of those and trying to figure out some kind of way to replicate their immortality or regenerating cells in humans. And they've been working on that for decades. Like I say, they've been fascinated with immortality since the founding of youth, and that was back in what, 16, 1700s, some bullshit like that. I don't know, 1800s, whatever. If you don't think mankind, some people in mankind have this need to defeat what some people would say God's will, or to where they want to become God themselves. And one of the key things to doing that is defeating death. So we're gonna definitely look further into that on one of the upcoming shows. But let's get back to this time traveling shit. Sorry for the long segue, but I'm just a black man that like to think about different shit, you know, and I'm gonna stay that way. I don't always want to talk. This thing, I love sports. I love big booty bitches. I don't like to argue that much. Believe it or not, anybody that knows that even when I do go off, I always try my best to get out of arguing, because it never serves you. I don't prefer drama. That's why I don't like arguing. But I do like to participate in certain levels of degeneracy for fun and talk a little shit, because I like shit talking. I like barbershop talk. But at the same time, shit like this is what really interests me and fascinates me the most. I'm a self-proclaimed Renaissance man, a man of many, many interests. Throughout my life, I always baffle people about the things that I like to talk about, engage in, and do for fun or just for research purposes. Is fascinated some people, baffled others, niggas, I don't know. You if you ain't on basic niggatry, sometimes they'll question your blackness, which is weird. As if that's because you're a certain race, you only supposed to think about and engage with in certain type of shit, which is strange to me. But anyway, let's get back to this time travel shit.
J. Bernard Hutton, along with photographer Joachim Brandt, was sent to do in our time. In 1932, journalist J. Bernard Hutton, along with photographer Joachim Brandt, was sent to do a story on the Hamburg shipyard for a German newspaper. The pair claimed that shortly after they arrived at the shipyard, bombs started raining down from the sky and they had to scramble to safety. When they emerged, they took several photographs of the devastation before returning to Hamburg. When the pair told their story, no one believed them, as there'd not been a bombing of any sort. Determined to prove that they were not crazy, they developed the photographs they had taken. To their shock, the photographs showed no signs of an air raid whatsoever. 11 years later, Hutton was living in London when he opened a newspaper and read that an air raid had taken place on the Hamburg shipping yard. The bombing was part of the Allied attack codenamed Operation Gomorrah. To his amazement, the photographs in the newspaper looked just like the ones he thought he and Brandt had taken years earlier. Did the pair slip through some sort of time rip? Had they actually witnessed an event that was yet to occur? In 2016, a mysterious photograph surfaced on Icelandic social media. It showed downtown Reykjavik in 1943 at the height of World War II. In the foreground, a group of American GIs can be seen standing outside a taxi station, as well as a man leaning against a window who appears to be talking on a mobile phone long before they even existed. Originally posted to a Facebook group by Christian Hoffman, it quickly began to attract attention across the internet. The photo was so convincing that many people said it was irrefutable proof that time travel must exist, while others thought that it showed that the mobile phone must have already been invented and in use in Iceland by the 1940s. What do you think? Is this man from the 1940s really using a cell phone?
Yo, what the fuck? I mean, I can't think of nothing else he holding like that. Seriously. What else can it be? I haven't held. But the thing is, though, who the fuck can he be talking to? Why would he have what don't make sense about this is how the fuck would a cell phone from the future work in the past without the cell phone towers?
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
That part don't make sense. But the image itself does look suspicious.
There's been several recorded instances of people seemingly using technology that shouldn't exist at the time. Many believe it to be evidence of time travel. This footage of a woman exiting a DuPont factory was taken in 1928. If you look closely, it appears that she's talking on a mobile phone. This footage was taken from the opening of a Charlie Chaplin film in 1928. As the camera pans in, a lady can be seen walking past chatting on another mobile phone.
I agree. If they from the future and time traveling, they could be talking to other people that's time traveling too, and they brought their own little towers, or some kind of way the devices can connect to each other, kind of like how a cell phone, walkie-talkie, hybrid kind of, the device emits its own signal that connect to other people with the devices. I mean, if they got time travel, it's not too far-fetched for them to have something like that to keep their communication up with their time travel agents. Oh, I like that movie Time Cop too. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm just a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan, so you know what I'm saying.
What do you think? Does this footage really prove that time travel exists?
That person definitely on a phone. Like, no one walks with their hand like this, holding it and talking. And they got some of their hand and holding to their ear and walking and talk. I don't know about the validity of this footage, but it's quite suspicious, to say the least, right?
This now famous black and white photo was taken on the day South Fork Bridge reopened in Canada in the early 1940s. Take a look at the man in the middle right of this image. He's wearing a pair of modern sunglasses, a hooded jumper and a logo printed t-shirt. If this is a real time traveller, why has he travelled to the 1940s to witness a bridge reopening in Canada? Now I know some of you are thinking that you've seen this photo a million times before, but wait till the number one spot where we'll reveal an extra piece of shocking information. This photo was taken after Brazil's triumph over Czechoslovakia in the final of the 1962 FIFA World Cup. The man holding the trophy is Brazilian player Garrincha, who was voted player of the tournament. If you look directly below him, there's a man who appears to be taking a photo of Garrincha using a mobile phone.
What's going on here, people? What's going on? Like, what the fuck is this really? Like, seriously.
What the hell?
I'm not saying these photos. I just don't know. This is crazy. What the fuck is in that motherfucking hand? He holding it with his thumb. He holding it like everybody else holding their camera with two hands is all bulky. Something ain't right. I'm just saying.
Could this be evidence of a time traveller who's travelled back in time to witness this historical sporting occasion? In 1901, Anne Mobley and Eleanor Jourdain, two professors from St Hugh's College in Oxford, England, travelled to France to visit the Palace of Versailles. As they were walking around a small chateau within the grounds known as Petit Trianon, the pair claimed that something very strange happened. They said they were suddenly surrounded by people dressed in 1780s period attire, and that Marie Antoinette herself was sitting on a stool in the gardens. Seemingly impossible, as Antoinette, the last Queen of France, was found guilty of high treason and beheaded by guillotine in 1793. The pair then claimed that everyone mysteriously disappeared just as a tour guide approached them. In 1911, the two professors wrote a book titled An Adventure, under the aliases of Elizabeth Morrison and Francis Lamont, that described in detail their bizarre experience. Because of the credibility of the authors and the grounded accounts of which they told their story, it is widely regarded as one of the best pieces of evidence that time slips may actually exist. Did Mobley and Jourdain experience a time slip, or was it some sort of strange hallucination? Let us know what you think could have happened in the comments section below. In 2008, archaeologists opened a sealed tomb in Guangxi, China that supposedly hadn't been disturbed for more than 400 years. Inside the coffin, they discovered a small wristwatch with the time frozen at 10:06. On the back, the word Swiss was engraved. The first wristwatch, however, was not made until the 1800s, which makes the discovery in Guangxi so baffling. Was the watch left behind by a clumsy time traveller, or could it just be an elaborate hoax?
The biggest question is, why is the wristwatch so small? Looks more like a fucking ring to me. Who fucking wrist is that fitting on? That's not even fitting on a child's wrist. That's not fitting on an infant's. That's not fitting on a newborn's wrist.
No.
I'm just saying. I'm just fucking saying.
In a video published in February 2018, a man by the name of Alexander Smith claims to be a time traveller that's visited the year 2118. In the video, he says that he's actually one of the first people to ever use time travel technology as part of a top secret CIA mission in 1981. He goes on to say that a group of unnamed people were looking for him and that he was living in hiding. Among other things, Smith claims that by the mid-21st century it's become widely known to the public that intelligent alien life exists. He goes on to say that they've been visiting Earth for a long time and that the government has been keeping it a secret. He also says that while walking around in the year 2118, he came across a statue of a man named Janu Oliver Beck, who he later found out would become President of the United States and is somehow assassinated. At the end of the interview, Smith reaches into his jacket and produces a photo of a city he claims he took while visiting the year 2118. He then mentions that the reason the image is slightly distorted is due to the time travel process. In 2003, a newspaper reported that a man by the name of Andrew Carlson had been arrested on insider trading charges. According to a report by the Security and Exchange Commission, Carlson had turned an initial investment of just $800 into a portfolio worth around $350 million while trading the stock market. All the trades he made were high risk and based on information that he couldn't have known unless he had inside information or was from the future. Carlson was interrogated by the FBI and confessed that he was actually a time traveller from the year 2256. He claimed that his plan was to make several small trades here and there that would go unnoticed, but that he got caught up in the excitement of the situation and ended up making a fortune. The more the FBI pressed him, the more Carlson insisted that he was actually from the future. In an effort to prove his story, Carlson is said to have even told the FBI where Osama bin Laden was hiding, as well as giving them the cure for AIDS. However, the story gets even stranger. In an effort to further prove himself, Carlson offered this photo as proof that he was actually a time traveller. He claimed that he was also witness to the reopening of the South Fork Bridge in Canada in the early 1940s, alongside the mysterious man dressed in modern-day clothes. Carlson pleaded with the authorities to release him so he could return to the year 2256. However, he refused to give up the location of his timecraft for fear of the technology falling into the wrong hands. Shortly after his arrest, a mysterious man posted his bail of $1 million. He was due to appear in court in April of 2003 but disappeared on the way to the hearing. There was no record of an Andrew Carlson existing prior to December 2002, and he was never seen or heard from ever again.
Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching and travelling into the future with us. If you're enjoying our content, hit that upward facing thumb,
There was no record of an Andrew Carlson existing prior to December 2002, and he was never seen or heard from ever again. There was no record in April, shortly after his timecraft for fear of the He was also witness to the reopening of the South Fork Bridge in Canada in the early 1940s, alongside the mysterious man dressed in modern-day clothes. Carlson pleaded with the authorities to release him so he could return to the year 2256. However, he refused to give up the location of his timecraft for fear of the technology falling into the wrong hands. Shortly after his arrest, a mysterious man posted his bail of $1 million. He was due to appear in court in April of 2003 but disappeared on the way to the hearing. There was no record of an Andrew Carlson existing prior to December 2002, and he was never seen or heard from ever again.
This shit's wild. I ain't even going front. It's wild as fuck. Extremely fascinating. I had a multifaceted show planned to where we was gonna get into lucid dreams, but I might just say this for its own show because I don't want to cover too many theories and concepts. And I've been up here almost 2 hours, and I'm up here solo dolo, and my vocal cords have reached this limit for a few hours till I gotta go recover. Plus, I also got to get prepared for the gym. So I'm going to. I'm a person, even though I took a bath before I went to bed, and I woke up, brushed my teeth, got ready for the show. I don't feel comfortable going to the gym without taking a bath. I have to take a bath within an hour before I go to the gym, because I can't stand that person that goes to the gym with a since I woke up body. You know what I'm saying? They all day body. I can't stand people that be like, when people be like, I'm going to the gym after work, I'd be like, ugh, you funky fuck. Because you don't work the 8-hour shift, depending on your job. But this in Texas, where you just sweating everywhere. So now you in the gym extra sweating. Now I'm on a treadmill next to you. I can't push my body because I smell your fucking privates. Fumes coming over my way. And it's a difference between, you know, I've been working out smell and I came here already funky smell. I had walked by people in the gym where ain't no way you smell like this from your workout. Nigga, this is all day funk. This is accumulation of bacteria and funk on you, nigga. I refuse to be that guy. So it's been fun. It's been entertaining to me. I hope y'all learned something or thought outside the box. I hope my goal for this channel is to show the world that people like me, people of color and black people, can talk about things outside of drama, fucking, partying, fighting, outside of niggotry. I'm out here looking for my tribe of people. Because don't get me wrong, I'm a bandit, I can get into that shit too. But I know it's some people out there that's not all they into. And if I can't find those people, I hope I can create/inspire people that's not those people to open up their mind a little bit and become that kind of person. We don't have to be one-dimensional. We don't have to be one-trick ponies. We see it all the time. People pull up on panels. It's only like 1, 2, or maybe 3 things they comfortable talking about that. That's why you can, like I said, you could be talking about potato farming, and they're gonna come up and turn the conversation to the shit they can talk about because they can't add to the conversation as is because they don't have the intellectual capacity. They don't have the intellectual capacity. Instead of just shutting the fuck up and maybe learning something, but they don't want to feel left out. It's some sad, miserable little people in the world. I don't need that. I don't need to be that. I'm fine. If the conversation is some shit that I'm not up to speed with or interested in, I will shut the fuck up or leave. And I don't need to come in here and switch the shit up. But I rarely have that problem because I can talk about shit like I talked about today. I could talk about the partying and the traveling and the bitches and the hoes and all that shit from my past. I could talk about my understanding of the game. if I'm just keeping my fucking nose to the ground, my ears to the ground, and the fact that even though I'm married, I'm not gay, dead, deaf, dumb, or blind. I still go outside. I still interact with people of the opposite sex that's not my wife. Not intimately, but I'm not gonna walk around terrified to talk to women. Number one, my wife's not insecure like that because she's pretty, successful, sexy, confident. She know who she married. She knows she married a extroverted man that's a social person. So I don't have to sneak and talk. If I'm sitting at a bar and a woman sitting next to me, I'm not gonna look straight ahead. I'm like, hey, how you doing? We're gonna start small talking. If she start going to a certain level, I'm gonna have to let her know what's up as far as like, you know, I'm smoking for her, obviously. But in casual conversation, you'll be amazed how you could talk to a person for 30 minutes and they're not gonna ask you your fucking dating status. It doesn't come up. It's just everybody ain't out there fishing, looking. Some people just conversing. MS Best says Beans forces what he wants to talk about on every panel he joins. Yes, Beans, JP, people like Ism, LL Unkman, that's their MO. That's what set me off last night. People come up and argue and throw out points of argument and contention about stuff that wasn't even mentioned or said. Like, you right, damn. But you arguing against something that wasn't even put on the table. You knocking plates off the table that haven't been placed there. That's like busting in there and saying, man, fuck that. I'm not trying to eat no motherfucking lasagna today. That's some bullshit. You know I don't like lasagna. And then the person looking at you like, I didn't say I was cooking lasagna. It ain't no lasagna cooked. We ain't even got no lasagna in the house. So why are you even coming at me about lasagna? No. But that's what people do when they can't add to the conversation. They want to create contention, and all they know how to do is argue because they can't say anything intellectual, and they only can argue about in a very specific way. I can debate or argue or converse about anything from I can talk about people with signs, real signs, theoretical science, religion, politics, movies, books, fitness, health, comic books, cartoons, time travel, ghosts, UFOs, zombies, nature survival, animals, any fucking thing. Because I'm a critical thinker. I want y'all to pay attention when certain people step into the shows. I know y'all already know, witness the shit. Certain motherfuckers are one-trick ponies and only comfortable talking about certain shit. So they always try to spin and aim the conversation towards that shit. It's weird, it's lame, and it disgusts me. But I gotta realize I can't just confront it all the time. I gotta just leave. But I don't be wanting to leave because again, I was enjoying the conversation up to that point. And I would hope that they, like Otis spoke up the other night, and Otis is a quiet person. He don't speak up on a bunch of shit, but he peeped the shit before, right after or before I said something of you came up here just changing the whole fucking topic type shit. It don't be selective hearing. It be trying to control what's being talked about. Like I said, some people want to talk, want to bump their mouth, but they're not on an intellectual level to have certain conversations. So they got to steer the conversation to things they're comfortable with. Even if they attempt, watch, don't pay attention. Even when they attempt to talk about something in another way, they got a very short time frame they can do it before they insert they fuckery into it.
No.
Because they started getting uncomfortable. But if you're uncomfortable in the top of that deal, shut the fuck. Listen, yo. Don't try to fuck up everybody else talking about some shit because you got low bandwidth. That's all I'm saying. This shit aggravates the fuck. It's aggy as fuck. It's one of my pet peeves. But again, I don't know how I'm gonna work it. One thing I'm not gonna do is tell another nigga how to run their channel, because that's some whole shit. What I don't like doing is wilding out and disrupting someone's channel. At the same time, I like the good conversations that go on and gonna support my boy. And at the same time, I don't like somebody coming up there being weird and having me not support my boy or disengaging from a conversation that I was enjoying. But at the same time, I'm not gonna subject myself to losers that I would never be around in real life and would punch in they fucking dick suckers. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to work that shit out with myself. But 9 times out of 10, it's gonna probably end up with me falling back and disengaging from talking that certain shit to a degree, because I be having other shit to do besides argue with a nigga. I really do. I got a whole book I could be writing sometimes. Straight up. Anyway, where I was gonna do something before I get out of here. What was it? Oh, yeah. There's something, because last night, me going off, I had to recalibrate, right? I have to reset myself. Right? I had to reset myself. I had to recalibrate myself. And maybe some of you can use this to recalibrate yourself in your personal life, friendships, relationships, work, and maybe the things you do on YouTube. I periodically, I think everyone should watch this video. And after last night and the what I gotta figure out about certain things and dealing with certain people in certain situations, and without letting them dictate where I go, how long I stay somewhere, and things like that. Because I'd rather not be somewhere than argue with a fool. But at the same time, when that's what the fools want, they want you to leave. They don't want you to be there because of their own insecurities and jealousy. That which is gay as fuck, by the way. So they want you to depart. But at the same time, you don't want to argue with a fool. But if you depart, you give them what they want. And plus, you want to participate in said activity. So not only is you giving the food what they want, this food got you doing something that you don't want to do and separating from something that you normally enjoy until the said food come around. But at the same time, at the end of the day, them winning, them having you doing what they want, you doing something you don't want to do, yada yada, all that doesn't trump protecting your peace. So that's the conundrum that I'm in right now. We're dealing with pure ignorance. If we was face to face, this would be easily resolved by me punching the motherfucking they dick suckers. But again, on YouTube, conflict resolution is different. You got to try to figure out a way around dealing with fuckery. But again, I need to listen to this to reset. And it's the start of the week. People got stressful jobs, stressful relationship, stressful family, things of that nature, stressful co-workers. I think for the replay game, anybody watching now, we might not watch the whole thing, but I think I should have did it Monday, but I think this is a really good way to start off your week by just watching a little bit of this.
The fastest way to expose your lack of intelligence is to let a foolish person control your emotions. Think about it. They say something ignorant, disrespectful, or completely false, and suddenly you feel responsible for correcting them. You explain, they interrupt. You bring facts, they become louder. You stay longer than you should, trying to make sense, enter a mind that has already chosen pride. And before you realize it, they have stolen your time, your focus, and your peace. This is the trap. Stupid people do not always defeat intelligent people with better arguments. Sometimes they defeat them by dragging them into pointless ones. The real test of intelligence is not how quickly you can prove someone wrong. It is how quickly you can recognize when a conversation no longer deserves you. Because some people do not want truth. They want reaction, they want attention. They want to pull you down to a level where noise feels like victory. But once you learn how truly intelligent people respond, you stop fighting every battle. You become calm, you become precise, and most importantly, you become impossible to control. The most dangerous person in the room is not always the loudest, the strongest, or the most powerful. Sometimes it is the person who is completely wrong, yet completely certain. They interrupt before they understand. They attack what they cannot explain. They turn every conversation into a contest and every disagreement into an insult. And when you meet someone like this, your first instinct may be to correct them, expose them, or prove that you are smarter. But that instinct can become a trap, because the moment you enter a pointless battle, you give another person control over your time, your energy, and your peace. Intelligence is not revealed by how quickly you defeat a foolish argument. It is revealed by how wisely You decide which arguments deserve your presence. The real question is not, how do I prove them wrong? The real question is, how do I remain clear when someone else is committed to confusion? Learn that, and people will no longer be able to drag you into battles beneath your character. You have probably experienced it before. You explain something carefully, but they hear only the part they can attack. You offer evidence, but they answer with emotion. You remain respectful, but they become louder, more personal, more aggressive. You begin with the intention of solving a problem, yet somehow you end up defending your intelligence, your motives, and your right to speak. Then, hours later, the conversation is still living inside your head. You replay their words. You imagine better replies. You think of the perfect sentence you should have said. You feel frustrated because the truth seemed obvious, yet they refuse to see it. But understand this, not every person who rejects the truth is unable to understand it. Some people reject it because accepting it would threaten the identity they have built around being right. And no explanation can enter a mind that has locked the door from the inside. This is where intelligent people separate themselves from merely knowledgeable people. A knowledgeable person may have facts. An intelligent person understands timing. A knowledgeable person may know the correct answer. An intelligent person recognizes whether the other person is capable of receiving it. A knowledgeable person wants to prove the point. An intelligent person asks whether proving the point will improve anything, because wisdom is not only knowing what to say. Wisdom is knowing when words are useless. You do not pour clean water into a closed container. You do not plant seeds on stone and then become angry when nothing grows. You do not keep knocking on a door whose owner is standing behind it, refusing to open. Yet many intelligent people exhaust themselves doing exactly this with human beings. They continue explaining long after the conversation has stopped being honest. They keep presenting evidence to someone who is not searching for truth. They keep defending themselves to someone who has already decided to misunderstand them, and then they wonder why intelligence has not brought them peace. It is because intelligence without restraint becomes another form of suffering. The first lesson is simple but difficult. Stop assuming every disagreement is an invitation to educate. Some disagreements are invitations to waste your energy. There are people who ask questions because they want to learn. There are people who ask questions because they want to challenge their own thinking. And there are people who ask questions only to create an opening for attack. These people may use the language of curiosity, but their goal is not understanding. Their goal is dominance. They want the final word. They want the emotional reaction. They want to watch you lose your calm so they can pretend your frustration proves their point. If you do not recognize this early, you will enter the conversation thinking you are building a bridge while they are collecting stones to throw at you. Pay attention to the pattern. Do they respond to what you actually said? Or do they distort it into something easier to attack? Do they consider new information? Or do they immediately change the subject? Do they admit small mistakes? Or must they protect their image at any cost? Do they speak to discover what is true, or only to show that they cannot be defeated? These signs matter, not because you should judge people as permanently foolish, but because you must judge the condition of the conversation. Even an intelligent person can behave foolishly when pride takes control. Even a good person can become impossible to reason with when they feel embarrassed, threatened, jealous, or exposed. Your task is not to condemn them. Your task is to recognize when reason has left the room. When reason leaves, do not chase it through the darkness. Pause, breathe. Lower your voice instead of raising it. The person expecting resistance often becomes confused when they meet stillness. They prepared themselves for a fight. They expected you to defend every sentence, react to every insult, and run after every false accusation. But when you remain calm, their strategy loses its fuel. This does not mean you become weak. It means you refuse to perform in a drama you did not create. There is a difference between silence born from fear and silence born from mastery. Fearful silence says, I have nothing to say. Masterful silence says, I have something to say. But this moment does not deserve it. That distinction changes everything. Many people believe intelligence must always announce itself. They think a smart person should answer every challenge, correct every false statement, and win every debate. But real intelligence does not need constant display. The sun does not argue with a candle about which one gives more light. The mountain does not bend down to convince the stone that it is taller. Truth does not become weaker because someone laughs at it. Your value does not decrease because someone fails to recognize it. And your intelligence does not disappear because you chose not to demonstrate it to a person committed to misunderstanding you. Sometimes the most intelligent response is a question, not a sarcastic question, not a trap, a calm, precise question. What evidence would change your mind? Are you trying to understand me or are you trying to defeat me? What exactly are we trying to solve? Can you repeat what you believe I said? Questions reveal the structure of a person's thinking. They force vague accusations into clear language. They expose whether the discussion has a real purpose or is merely emotional noise. A foolish argument often survives through speed. It jumps from claim to claim before anything can be examined. It uses 10 accusations at once, so you cannot answer one properly. It replaces accuracy with intensity. A calm question slows the process down, and confusion hates being slowed down. But you must ask the question without arrogance. The moment your question becomes a weapon, you are no longer seeking clarity. You are simply fighting with more elegant tools. Intelligent people do not use intelligence to humiliate. Humiliation may give you a moment of satisfaction, but it creates a longer conflict. When you make someone feel small in public, they rarely become more reasonable. They become more defensive. They stop protecting the truth and start protecting their dignity. This is why wisdom speaks firmly without cruelty. You can disagree without insulting. You can correct without mocking. You can leave without creating a scene. You can protect your boundaries without needing the other person to feel defeated. The goal is not to prove that you are above them. The goal is to avoid falling below yourself. There will be moments when you are tempted to show everyone exactly how foolish another person is. Perhaps they lied about you. Perhaps they misrepresented your work. Perhaps they spoke with confidence about something they did not understand. You may feel that silence allows them to win, but winning is not always what it appears to be. A person can win an argument and lose respect. A person can receive applause and still be wrong. A person can silence others and still reveal their own insecurity. And you can appear to lose a conversation while protecting your peace, your reputation, and your future. Time has a way of revealing what noise tries to hide. You do not need to pull every mask off with your own hands. Some masks become too heavy for the wearer and eventually fall on their own. Let patterns speak. Let consistency speak. Let your work speak. Let your calm become evidence. This is especially important in workplaces, families, friendships, and relationships where you cannot simply walk away forever. You may have to continue seeing the person. You may have to cooperate with them. You may have responsibilities that require communication. In such situations, reduce the conversation to what is necessary. Do not give 10 explanations when 2 sentences will do. Do not reveal your deepest emotions to someone who repeatedly uses them against you. Do not discuss complex ideas with a person who converts every difference into disrespect. Be clear, be brief, be factual. Here is what was agreed. Here is what I can do. Here is what I cannot accept. Here is the next step. Clarity is a boundary. The more chaotic the person, the more disciplined your language must become. Do not over-explain. Over-explaining often begins with a noble intention. You want to prevent misunderstanding. You want to make sure they see your heart. You want to show that you meant no harm. But to the wrong person, every extra explanation becomes new material to twist. You give them one reason, and they challenge it. You give them 5 more, and they challenge those 2. Soon, you are no longer communicating. You are pleading for permission to be understood. Stop. You are allowed to state your position without writing a book in its defense. You are allowed to say no without decorating it with guilt. You are allowed to leave a conversation that has become disrespectful. You are allowed to protect your mind from people who treat confusion like a weapon. An intelligent person understands that access is earned. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your thoughts, your time, or your emotional energy. Some people can receive your honesty with maturity. Others collect your words and return them as ammunition. Discernment is not coldness, it is responsible generosity. You would not hand a fragile instrument to someone who keeps throwing things on the floor. In the same way, do not hand your deepest truths to someone who has shown no respect for them. You can still be kind, you can still be civil, but kindness does not require emotional exposure. Forgiveness does not require closeness. Understanding someone's wounds does not require you to become the place where they continue causing wounds. This is one of the hardest lessons for compassionate, intelligent people. They often see the reason behind another person's behavior. They understand the insecurity, the childhood pain, the fear of rejection, the need for control. And because they understand, they tolerate what they should confront. But explanation is not permission. You can understand why a person behaves badly and still refuse to accept the behavior. A storm may have a scientific explanation, but you still close the windows. A fire may have a cause, but you still move away from the flames. Compassion without boundaries becomes self-abandonment. The intelligent response is not hatred. It is distance with understanding. Sometimes physical distance, sometimes emotional distance, sometimes simply the distance created by refusing to react. Reaction is a form of access. When anyone can provoke you whenever they choose, they possess a remote control to your nervous system. They press a button and anger appears. They press another and you begin defending yourself. They press again and you lose an entire evening replaying the interaction. This is not freedom. Freedom begins when the button stops working. That does not mean you feel nothing. You are human. Words can sting. Disrespect can hurt. False accusations can create anger. But there is a space between feeling and acting. Intelligent people train inside that space. They feel the heat rising. They notice the urge to attack. They hear the perfect cruel sentence forming. Then they wait, 1 breath, 2 breaths, a few seconds of silence. That pause may protect a relationship, a career, a reputation, or an entire future. Never underestimate what can be saved by 5 seconds of self-control. The foolish person may call your calmness weakness. Let them. People often mislabel what they cannot understand. They call restraint fear because they have never experienced strength without aggression. They call silence defeat because they cannot imagine confidence without performance. They call patience passivity because they confuse movement with progress. You do not need to correct every label placed on you. You only need to ensure that the label does not become your identity. Know yourself well enough that another person's temporary opinion cannot rewrite your inner truth. This requires humility, because sometimes the person you consider foolish is not entirely wrong. This is where real intelligence becomes uncomfortable. It is easy to stay calm when you know the other person is mistaken. It is much harder to remain open when their clumsy words contain a truth you do not want to hear. A person may speak badly and still reveal something useful. Their delivery may be emotional. Their reasoning may be incomplete. Their tone may be unpleasant. But hidden inside the noise, there may be one sentence worth examining. Do not reject truth because it arrived through an imperfect messenger. Intelligent people separate the message from the method. They ask, is there anything here I need to learn? They do not surrender their dignity. They do not excuse disrespect, but they remain teachable. Because the moment you believe foolishness belongs only to other people, it begins growing inside you. Pride is one of the fastest ways intelligence becomes stupidity. The mind becomes dangerous when it stops questioning itself. Education can make this worse if knowledge becomes an identity. The more a person knows, the more skilled they may become at defending their own errors. They can build complex arguments around simple pride. They can use impressive words to protect an unexamined belief. They can confuse being informed with being wise. So, when dealing with an unreasonable person, watch yourself carefully. Do not become a mirror of what you dislike. Do not let their arrogance awaken yours. Do not let their shouting convince you to shout more intelligently. The battle is not only between you and them. The deeper battle is between your awareness and your ego. Your ego wants victory. Your awareness wants clarity. Your ego wants the audience to know you were right. Your awareness wants to know whether the conversation is worth continuing. Your ego says, do not let them get away with that. Your awareness asks, what will this cost me if I continue? Listen to awareness. There are 4 outcomes to most difficult conversations. You may reach understanding. You may establish a boundary. You may agree to disagree. Or you may discover that continuing is useless. All 4 can be successful outcomes. Do not measure success only by whether the other person admits you were right. Some people would rather destroy the relationship than speak the sentence, I was mistaken. Their admission is not necessary for your peace. Closure does not always come from the other person. Sometimes closure is the moment you stop waiting for maturity from someone who has repeatedly shown you their limits. You stop asking the same locked door to open. You stop expecting a deep conversation from a shallow emotional state. You stop offering your peace as payment for an apology that may never come. Then your energy returns. You begin to understand that your attention is one of your most valuable possessions. Wherever attention goes, life follows. Give your attention to resentment, and resentment grows. Give it to endless arguments, and your mind becomes a courtroom. Give it to meaningful work, disciplined habits, and people capable of mutual respect, and your life begins expanding again. The person who irritates you may occupy 5 minutes of your day, but 5 hours of your mind. That is too expensive. Do not allow someone to live rent-free in the temple of your attention. Remove them gently, not by forcing yourself to forget, but by returning to what matters. Ask, what deserves my energy now? Your health, your work, your family, your purpose, your spiritual peace, the future you say you want? Every minute spent trying to defeat an unreasonable person is a minute not invested in building a reasonable life. This does not mean avoiding necessary conflict. There are moments when you must speak, when silence would allow harm to continue, when a boundary has been crossed, when your responsibility requires correction, when another person's behavior affects a team, a family, or someone more vulnerable. But even then, speak strategically. Do not attack their character when you can address their behavior. Do not say, you are impossible. Say, this conversation cannot continue while insults are being used. Do not say, you never understand anything. Say, we are repeating the same points without progress. Do not say, you are a liar. Say, that statement does not match the documented facts. Specific language creates accountability. Personal attacks create chaos. The aim is not to injure. The aim is to make reality difficult to escape. And when possible, document important matters. Memory becomes flexible when responsibility appears. Agreements may suddenly change. Clear instructions may be denied. Spoken promises may disappear. A written record is not hostility. It is clarity preserved. Intelligent people do not rely entirely on emotional conversations where facts matter. They confirm decisions. They define expectations. They protect everyone involved by making the truth visible. But even documentation will not transform someone who refuses responsibility. It will simply protect you from being trapped inside their version of events. Now the limits of your influence. You can offer information, but you cannot force understanding. You can model respect, but you cannot manufacture maturity. You can create a peaceful opening, but you cannot drag someone through it. The desire to change others can become another hidden form of control. You think, if I explain it perfectly, they will finally understand. Perhaps not. You think, if I stay patient long enough, they will become reasonable. Perhaps not. You think, if I prove how much I care, they will stop treating me badly. Perhaps not. Your goodness is not a machine that automatically produces goodness in others. Some people learn through love. Some learn through consequences. Some refuse to learn until life becomes the teacher. Let life teach what your words cannot. This may feel cruel at first, especially when you care about the person. But constantly rescuing someone from the consequences of foolish behavior can prevent growth. When you keep fixing what they break, explaining what they refuse to learn, and absorbing the impact of their choices, you may become part of the pattern. Stepping back can be an act of respect. It says, I believe you are capable of meeting reality. It also says, I will not destroy myself trying to protect you from every result of your decisions. There is dignity in allowing adults to carry the weight of their actions. And there is dignity in refusing to carry what was never yours. The strongest emotional discipline appears when the unreasonable person is someone close to you. A stranger's foolishness may annoy you for a moment. A loved one's foolishness can break your heart. You remember who they used to be. You see who they could become. You continue speaking to their potential while their behavior keeps answering from their present. You wait for the conversation that will finally change everything. You imagine the day they will understand your patience, recognize your effort, and regret the pain they caused. But years can disappear inside that hope. Listen carefully. Love is not measured by how much confusion you can survive. Loyalty is not proven by remaining available for endless disrespect. Patience is not the same as permission. There comes a moment when you must stop asking whether they understand your pain and begin asking why you keep abandoning yourself to explain it. That question may hurt, but some truths must hurt before they heal. You may have spent so long trying to be understood that you no longer understand yourself. You have adjusted your tone, softened your needs, hidden your anger, and reduced your expectations. You have become an expert in managing their reactions and a stranger to your own peace. This is not intelligence. This is survival disguised as wisdom. Real wisdom does not require you to disappear. You can be calm and still say enough. You can be compassionate and still leave. You can forgive and still refuse another conversation. You can wish someone well from a distance they can no longer cross. Sometimes the most intelligent way to deal with foolish behavior is to remove the audience.
Type shit.
Stop playing with me, Drake. DJ K.
Come on, I'm doing hump shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with hump shit. Type shit. Activities. I'm doing hump shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with hump shit. Type shit. Activities. Posted up on the island with a bitch. They call me cause I ain't on that dumb shit. Yeah, I'm rich. y'all. No Viagra, dick still get hard. I can make your auntie swipe a credit card. OG in the game, realest that you ever. Aunties get down on the floor. Show these poor ass hoes how it go. Back it up like Freak Week 94. Is she under 24? It's a no. Come on, I'm doing